All right. Let's do some sports concepts and rationalizations around the NFL. We do it each and every day, except on Tuesday. Beef, do we have anything to give away this weekend?
Oh,
if there is, what are we doing away? What are we giving away?
We're going to hook up the Googans with a beautiful floral arrangement delivered by our friends over at Kuhn Flowers. So stay tuned for that.
Beef, before we start
Yes, sir.
our sports concepts and rationalizations, do you have any kind of quick trick-or-treat stories to tell us? You have two youngins, and you went out a Saturday. Were there less folks out than normal?
No, I felt like the streets were as busy as ever.
All right.
We made a point just like, we only went to houses where it was clear they were open for business.
Yeah.
People were out in the driveway or in their garages.
That's what we did. We put the
kinda
candy out
welcoming
front,
folks.
let the kids go wild.
That's what I did, too.
So we did that. We scoured the neighborhood. We did the thing. I mean, people were out. They were doing their thing. Everybody was respectful, so it was good.
Kids have to know, too. Kids have to learn this one thing. Most houses now and have these little, like, Ringer cameras and stuff. So if you steal the candy, like dump the whole thing into your bag, you're going to be caught.
And
You're
you're
gonna
going
go
to
viral.
And I know many of you are in the car right now going to school. You'll go to jail for that.
You'll go to
kid.
jail.
So
That's against the law.
And I'll also say this, okay? Parents, turn up the radio for little Johnny sitting in the back after you told little Johnny he couldn't go trick-or-treating this Saturday. Little Johnny, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you saw your friends and ghosts and goblins buzzing up and down the sidewalks. They came to your house. Their breath still rich with nougat. I'm sorry, little Johnny, that your parents instead ran up to the CVS and brought you home a multi-bag and said, here, happy Halloween. I'm sorry for you kids that 2020 happened because I saw lots of little fancy spirits floating around my neighborhood, and they look like they're having a good time.
So I'm not a huge red zone guy because normally we're watching Jags or at work or at a game, so I don't get to see it.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
I love the red zone, although I have a complaint to log. I want to know the answer to this question because this annoyed me yesterday.
Okay.
And this goes along the lines of what you were saying earlier where you said, I kind of dove into Pittsburgh-Baltimore, which is cool. I respect that. But I didn't want to dive into Pittsburgh-Baltimore. I wanted to dive into the NFL, and I was diving into the NFL, and then all of a sudden it got to be I guess they call it the witching hour on the red zone.
3:30. That's the 3:30 is the witching hour.
And they decided they were just going to stay with Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and red zone be damned. And then what's his name? I don't know the guy's name.
Scott Hansen.
Scott Hansen comes back in his fake broadcaster voice.
I don't know if it's
does
fake,
a great job,
yeah.
well, it's fake. And he comes back in his fake broadcaster voice, and he says, well, we were kind of locked into Pittsburgh and Baltimore, but here's what happened. I see 4 plays in a row. I like to see real-time red zone when you're bouncing around, Pross. That's what I'm there for.
You have
if
a
I want to
phone
watch
that alerts.
Pittsburgh-Baltimore, Jeff, I'll change to Pittsburgh-Baltimore. So
A lot of people
disappointed.
don't have that option.
Hate to be
Man,
bah humbug.
this is the guy that doesn't like the red zone.
A little disappointed in the red zone performance yesterday.
God.
It's called the red zone, which
Yeah.
means when somebody's there, we try to show you.
Well, you know
it.
what's funny? It's evolved so much. I remember when the red zone first started, you literally didn't see a team unless it was in the red zone.
Yeah.
And so if a team got in the red zone, even if they're plodding along for 8 minutes, if no one else is in the red zone, you're watching that team.
Yeah, well, this one, I mean, honest to goodness, man, I might as well just flipped over to CBS and watch Pittsburgh-Baltimore. Now, with that said, what a nice win by the Steelers. And again, I'll say it again, and Lamar Jackson, that's not an NFL. He's not playing like he played last year, and he's definitely not throwing the ball as well as he did. Now, Pittsburgh is a great defense, and they know how to slow him down a little bit in the running game, and they still had chances to win. But he has too many passes that are guys that are open that he does not put it on them.
I don't think it's necessarily new. I think that happened last year against the great teams. I mean, that's what you look at the playoff failures.
Well, he lost to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Lost to Kansas City this year.
Yeah.
Lost to Pittsburgh this year.
Right.
4 touchdowns, 4 picks in
the
those
good
games.
teams.
Lost 4 fumbles in those games.
Well, here's
too.
the thing. It works like, I think the chain works like this, okay? Mm-hmm. You play a good team, odds are you're going to be in a tight game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Okay? That means you could be behind in the fourth quarter, and that means you have to play way outside of your comfort level. And that's just a fact. The comfort level for Lamar Jackson is exclusively dominated by his dual threat potential.
To
And
put
if you take away one of those halves,
Yeah.
he's just not a good enough drop back passer right now, and he could get better. And
But he
doesn't have
should be
good
getting
enough-
better this year,
Well,
and I haven't seen that. And
yeah,
that's a concern for me if I'm a Baltimore fan. I promise you,
Well, those
they're
two
talking
games,
about that. Yeah.
those 2 games against the 2 better teams,
Yeah.
he couldn't do enough in the passing game. But I will say this, and Baltimore does a great job drafting. They're
Yeah.
a really good organization.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody has mangled the receiver position through the draft as poorly as the Ravens for 20 years. They never hit. They never get the right guy. They're always full of Miles Boykins
Hollywood.
and Torrey Smiths and they never ever
They
never,
lost Ronnie Stanley yesterday as well. Baltimore looks to be a little bit on the ropes right now. Just to put one more note on Lamar Jackson in his passing context, his quarterback rating right now is behind in the NFL Gardner Minshew. So that
I believe that.
Yeah, he's middle of the pack right now. So anyway, you expect more from him. He's a reigning NFL MVP. Now, he could be in a little bit of a slump. I haven't watched him all year, but I've kind of got the feeling that there have been whispers up there that he's not throwing the ball like they had hoped.
You almost feel like watching the Ravens that if they're ahead, they're close to unbeatable. And if they get behind, they're not. They're going to lose to a good
And
team.
this one went back and forth. It was a fun game to watch.
That was a great game. Give the Steelers credit. They were down 17-7. They were not defending the run worth a flip, and Lamar was able to beat him a little bit in the mid-range.
Did you catch the preseason game last night between the Cowboys and the Eagles?
I did watch it.
My God.
Boy, Carson Wentz is something wrong with him, boy. He
Boy,
does not look good.
Boy, to be the Jags might be in it if they were in the NFC East. That's how bad the NFC
It's
East
a bad
must
division,
be. I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
and by the way, if you're Dallas, how do you trot out at 2-5 and you're still in it? How do you trot out
Ben DiNucci.
Vinny DiNucci?
Ben DiNucci, yeah.
Ben DiNucci.
They should have They should have traded. They needed him every week. Is a missed opportunity. They should have gone Fitzpatrick. That would have been a good move for them.
Could you have not?
Mike Glennon's available.
Blake Bortles.
Somebody.
I mean, Blake Bortles ain't better than many.
He ain't better than Ben DiNucci.
He's better than Ben DiNucci.
Yeah, Blake Bortles would
He's
have done
better
the same
than Ben
thing last night
DiNucci.
that Ben DiNucci
That
did.
game was, I mean, the Eagles aren't much better, and the Eagles don't have as many excuses as the Cowboys.
What do you mean? They're completely beat up and banged up on the offensive line. They have no receivers. They have their Zach Ertz is out. They're
Baltimore's missing 2 guys
I
from their
get
offensive
it, but they're not
line.
Baltimore. They have excuses though. That's
Not as many as Dallas is all I'm saying. And they
Well,
have
that's
their
because-
quote franchise
Yeah.
quarterback who's not lifting them to great heights. You're right. Carson Wentz does not look very good at all right now.
No.
And so I wonder what they'll do. And in the beginning, for like a half, I'm like, this is the worst defense in the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys. They're worse than the Jags.
Yeah.
What are you guys? Why are you trying all these gadget
I'll
things?
say the
Just
same
stop and
thing
play.
about your most hated.
Thank you.
Who is Dan Hickens' most hated quarterback in the NFL? Beef. Less belief in this guy than anybody. Who is it? Jimmy Garoppolo.
G.
Yeah, it's Jimmy
yeah,
G.
he wasn't good.
Chuck
Yeah.
Lugs?
Yeah, and he it was same deal yesterday. The Seahawks defense is terrible,
Right.
And you can't move it on them. That gives me the same pause that it does with Carson Wentz and the Eagles.
Are you coming to my side on Jimmy G yet or no?
He was bad yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the side is. I don't think he's great, but I don't think you are desperate to upgrade.
I didn't watch any of that game.
Yeah.
Because I was at work.
He got hurt. And he's just,
But as soon as he went out, I saw San Francisco start scoring touchdowns.
Yeah, and that's fair, but part of that is because the spread
Game was over.
Yeah, and they were just kind of laying back, and he was picking them apart a little bit.
You want to know why you have franchise quarterbacks, man? And you want to know why you thirst and your quest should be to find one. Go to Cincinnati, Ohio, and watch a guy who was missing 2 or 3 offensive linemen. His starting tailback, Cool Hand Joe, is awesome.
The real deal, yeah.
I mean, that
and
guy,
Herbert was great yesterday too.
He
by the way.
was. I don't know who's better, but I love Cool Hand Joe. Cool Hand Joe had a scramble yesterday where about 8 guys had a shot at him.
I saw that.
And couldn't get him down.
He didn't get the first, but man, he got
I know
a lot
he
out
did,
of it.
but man, he tried. That guy, they had no business. Andy Dalton for Cincinnati yesterday.
they
Tennessee
lost.
annihilates them.
Yeah, Tennessee. Are you worried about Tennessee at all?
No, I think it's a midseason
All right.
blip.
Yeah, that happens.
To me, I think that
Colts or Titans? Who you got?
I'd still take the Titans. I think I took the Titans at the beginning. I would stay, but the Colts, old man Rivers is rolling here a
Well,
little
he
bit.
had a good game yesterday.
Let's give him a little credit.
Well, yeah, he threw a couple of swing
5-2,
passes.
baby.
He threw a couple of swing passes that running back Hines took 25 yards.
Matthew, they were nice passes though. Matthew Stafford again proving why he's not a franchise guy with just a brutal pick six.
Yeah,
that you can't make if you're him.
not if you're trying to win the football game.
The worst team in football played okay, and they lost by 24.
They should have taken the Chiefs. There's a lot of should have takens on my 5-pack scorecard this week.
35-9. Mahomes throws for 400 plus and 5 TDs, and I thought, the Jets are hanging in there.
It reminded me a little bit
gosh.
of that trip that the Jags took
Denver?
to Denver.
Yes.
That year when they were like
Yes.
19-point underdogs and they hung
Although
around.
they covered, I think.
I signaled that this would be the death of a dynasty, and I feel more strongly about that now.
I didn't like your narrative on that in this respect. They were going in to win the damn game.
And they didn't. They
No,
lost
they didn't.
because they're
But
no
they
good.
were at the 11-yard line.
Well, let me give you this little. Let me give you this little eye opener. Okay,
I'm listening.
The New England Patriots yesterday held Josh Allen to 11 of 18 for 154, no touchdowns and a pick.
Yeah.
They did not give up a 100-yard rusher, and they lost the game.
You know what Belly is against Buffalo going into yesterday? 30-5.
Yeah. So that's why, because if you can't beat Buffalo yesterday,
Are you not concerned for Buffalo? I'm concerned.
Sure
I don't
I
think they're
am.
playing good football against the good teams.
Listen, I should have never backed off my Josh Allen concern. It should remain there.
Yeah.
He's not a finished product. He's not that guy.
Tough weather yesterday.
Yeah, but it's been a few weeks in a row here for Josh Allen. He's not that guy we saw in the first couple of weeks.
First
throwing
4
for
games,
you're
he was
right.
really good.
MVP candidate.
Yeah.
Now, he's still good enough.
Yeah.
But
It was a big win for Buffalo.
I'm not as positive. That was a great in-game play to get that turnover. That's like
Big
the
win.
Anti-Buffalo thing to do. That
Yes.
for years the Patriots.
I thought the Patriots were going to go down and score.
I did too.
I said they're going to go down and score.
But I
and when
guess-
they kicked the field goal, I said that's a big mistake, Buffalo.
The Patriots had a 100-yard rusher yesterday.
Uh-huh.
They held Buffalo to especially Josh Allen to nothing.
Yeah.
And they still couldn't win the game.
Yeah, in that
That's-
respect, I guess. But to me, they're going in to
They're
beat
2
them.
and 5. They're going to go 6-10, Dan.
Yeah.
And had they won that game yesterday, that wouldn't be the narrative. That's why yesterday was the must-win game for them. They had to win that game.
Tonight, Brady will be in the spotlight against a bad Giants team and
Light him
throw
up.
the ball all over
What
the
about
yard.
Brady's having sleepovers, apparently. He's invited Antonio Brown to live with him. Man, that's quite man, Antonio Brown must be one hell of a player because, Tom Brady's having a chaperone, dude.
Yeah.
I guess apparently we didn't know. Apparently that's what happened in New England last year. He took him in there. He was living with Antonio Brown, if you didn't hear it, apparently is living with Tom Brady, who is married with children, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not some bachelor pad out at,
Yeah. He's in Jeet's place.
Saddlebrook.
Yeah, he's in Jeet's place over there on the island.
Yeah.
What's the name of
He
it?
also,
Davis Island?
did you see that? It goes further. Did you see who he set him up with?
No.
He set up a meeting for Antonio Brown with someone. You ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Tony Robbins.
Oh, jeez.
He is literally, it's a reclamation project. Football has gotten so boring for Tom Brady that he doesn't just want to win Super Bowls. He wants to have reclamation projects for troubled players around the
Yesterday,
league.
I was reminded, once again, it comes up every now and then as I was watching Dalvin Cook run through Green Bay like sliced butter. Maybe that was the guy we should have drafted running back year, and then we could have come back and taken Watson or Mahomes, and we'd have Mahomes and Cook here in Jacksonville.
You're giving me a headache. Can we end this
and
segment?
we'd be 6-1 coming off the bye week, wondering who we're going to play in the Super Bowl.
I'll keep it a little closer time frame. And again, I was thinking this driving in, Dan.
Dalvin Cook, by the way, looked really good.
Oh my
yesterday.
gosh, and he was quote unquote questionable with an injury.
Yeah.
I battle this a little bit, Dan, as the Jags continue.
And by the way, one more thing. I'm sorry. I'll let you make your point. And for all of those who kept telling me, the Vikings are winnable, that's why I kept trying to tell you that's laughable.
Yeah, I didn't think they were winnable
Cousins,
either. No,
Cook,
yeah.
Thielen,
We have-
Rudolph. No.
we have no winnable
Continue
games.
now.
If the Jags win again, it'll be a huge upset.
All right.
I sometimes struggle with
Yes,
this.
sir. Yes, sir.
It's very easy to criticize the front office, Dave Caldwell in particular, the general manager. At the end of the day,
Sure.
it's his ship. It's his program that he's put together, and
Yes.
and we're terrible, so you deserve to be criticized. But
Yes.
I also wonder, I mean, has it become piling on at one point? Do you point out every single thing that they miss? I mean,
It is piling on.
so yeah, and
That's
so,
fair.
So other people miss, so it makes me. But then there are some that are just so rich and resonant and timely that, again, I can't help but just pull my hair out in frustration. But the Jacksonville Jaguars in this year's draft identified a need at receiver, and they were going to take one relatively high. If it wasn't one of those first 2 picks, it ended up being a second rounder, right?
Right.
Who did they take?
Visca.
Okay. Laviska Shenault went, I believe, 54th overall.
Yeah.
Okay. 5 picks later, some cat Chase Claypool was
Oh,
picked.
no. By Pittsburgh?
So, I mean, and this guy looks like he's the next Julio Jones, Dan.
Oh, no.
I mean, is it not fair to say
Well,
what in the hell do they do down there?
I will soften the blow a little bit by wondering out loud if we had Chase Claypool and they had Laviska Shenault.
enough. That's
I wonder
very
if
fair.
Laviska Shenault would
That's-
have those types of
The
numbers.
bloodstream is poisoned. That's fair.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I just sit.
That's
I can't
fair.
help but think that, and so I watch good players come here and be
That's
mediocre
fair.
players.
That's fair.
So,
All right.
And to your point, Jeff, yeah, 7 picks later, Chenault 42nd overall, Claypool 49th.
I mean, that's just you. That of itself is take a lap.
yeah, well,
Do something. I mean,
we let A-Rob walk too.
well, that
I know, but we did.
I hear you. A-Rob's very good, by the way. Newsflash.
Very good and very frustrated again.
Yeah, these receivers are divas, boy. They are so
Oh,
hard
I know what I
to
wanna
deal
say,
with.
too.
I saw another one yesterday. He was losing his mind.
I want to make. You don't know guys, okay? But I want to say this. From everything I understand, what Javon Wims did was way out of character for him.
Right, that's what I said. He's low-key.
I will tell you this. My son is a local high school quarterback and went and threw in the summer, and he threw to different guys, and he threw with like some Sharks players because they were trying to have their season. So he'd be out, and they sometimes need arms, and so they'll take him. So he would go out and throw. And one day, Javon Wims was there, and he
I remember you told me that. I was there.
yeah,
thinking,
he
what?
came back and just raved about.
I've heard the same thing.
He was the nicest guy.
Yeah.
He asked me who I am. He said I was really good. He did this. He said that. I mean, he talked to me for like 15 minutes, dude.
That's
and
awesome.
he calls me yesterday. He goes, "Dad, you see what Juice did?" I guess
Juice.
I go, "Yeah." I go, "That." I go, "It's a little weird, isn't it?" He goes, "Yeah, that's weird." And by the way, Florida Georgia week. You say, oh, those stinking Gators. I'd take Javon Wims over. Chauncey Gardner's a nut job to me, and I'm not a big fan of his anyway.
Well,
he denounced my school. I'm not a big fan of his, so I would take Javon Wims in that one. I want to know what they did.
Here's what I found out.
Yeah.
I guess if you were watching every second of the game. Now, I
Yeah.
was to the red zone by then. But I guess earlier in the game, Gardner had
Poked
gone
another receiver in the
No,
eye.
he did that, but he also took Wims. He pulled Wims' mouthpiece out of his mouth while he was wearing it. Kind of went up to him, did one of
Okay.
those. That's why he kind of reached around him and tried to pull something off of
Oh,
him or
yeah.
something before he
then he
before
said,
he
"Heck
attacked
with it."
him.
Whap!
Yeah. So,
All right.
something like that.
Beef, what do you say? Caller number 4?
Why not, Dan?
641-1010. Tell them what they're going to win, friend.
Caller 4 at 641-1010 going to go home with a lovely floral arrangement delivered from our friends at Kuhn Flowers.
And by the way, I will say this: while we are just ripping a new one for the pitiful performances of people who should know better, Dave Caldwell in this case, I will join that club when we return, and I'll rip my pitiful self with this week's Friday 5-pack proof and performance.